In the vast tapestry of human ambition, a few names stand apart not merely for their wealth, but for their ability to shape economies, influence generations, and redefine what power means. Across to very different worlds, and to very different centuries, two families rose from humble beginnings to command empires of staggering reach. One built its fortune on everyday goods, selling to the masses. The other, on the invisible threads of finance, lending to kings and nations. This is the story of the Waltons and the Rothschilds, to dynasties that changed the course of global history in their own quiet, relentless way. The story of the Walton family begins in the American heartland. It was the 1940s, a time when the United States was emerging from the Great Depression and preparing for a new era of prosperity. In a small town called Newport, Arkansas, a young man named Sam Walton bought a modest Ben Franklin variety store. He was 27 years old. Sam wasn't born into privilege. He was the son of a farmer who had seen the hardship of the Dust Bowl. But he was driven by something simple and profound: the belief that ordinary people deserve to live better by saving money. Walton spent every dollar carefully, negotiated every deal fiercely, and treated every customer as a friend. He understood that loyalty in business was not bought, it was earned, one transaction at a time. But his ideas were bigger than any small-town store could contain. In 1962, he opened the first Walmart in Rogers, Arkansas. The concept was radical: a massive store that sold everything at lower prices than anyone else. Most thought it would fail. But Walton's vision was not about short-term profit. It was about scale, logistics, and efficiency. He pioneered supply chain systems decades before they became standard corporate practice. He used technology to track inventory, built distribution centers to reduce transportation costs, and demanded that suppliers adapt to his rhythm, not the other way around. By the early 1980s, Walmart wasn't just a store, it was a revolution. Its motto, "Everyday low prices," became the battle cry of a new retail age. Sam Walton wasn't content with success. He wanted to create a culture, one where every employee, or as he called them, associates, felt like part of the mission. He once said, "If you want a successful business, your people must feel like it's their business too." He would drive for hours just to visit stores unannounced, talk to employees, and take notes on what could be improved. His leadership was part discipline, part charisma, and part quiet obsession. When Sam Walton passed away in 1992, Walmart was generating over $40 billion in annual sales. Today, it is a global behemoth operating in over 20 countries, with revenues exceeding $600 billion, more than the GDP of most nations. Yet the empire remains very much a family enterprise. Walton's children Rob, Jim, Alice, and the late John inherited large stakes in the company and continue to control nearly half of its stock through Walton Enterprises. Together, their combined fortune is estimated at over $250 billion, making them the richest family in the world. Despite this unimaginable wealth, the Waltons are known for their quiet presence. They rarely grant interviews or court publicity. Their influence flows not through headlines, but through policies, foundations, and corporate decisions that affect millions of lives every day. The Walton Family Foundation, one of the largest philanthropic organizations in the United States, channels billions into education reform, environmental protection, and community development. Yet critics have often accused Walmart of underpaying workers and driving small local businesses into extinction. The family story, therefore, is a mirror of modern capitalism itself, a system that empowers some while unsettling others. But beyond the controversies, one truth remains: Sam Walton's empire changed how the world shops. He democratized consumption, bringing affordability to every household, and in doing so, redefined what global retail could be. His legacy endures in every small town and city where a blue Walmart sign stands like a monument to efficiency and scale. From humble shelves of a single Arkansas store to the sprawling networks of global commerce, the Walton dynasty became the living embodiment of the American dream, the story of how simplicity, vision, and relentless execution could create a fortune that spanned generations. Long before Walmart existed, long before America became a world power, another family was weaving the invisible fabric of global finance. Their story begins in Frankfurt, Germany, in the late 1700s, in a narrow alley known as Judegasse, the Jewish Street. There, a man named Meyer Amschel Rothschild worked as a dealer in rare coins and antiquities. Born in 1744, he possessed both a meticulous mind for numbers and an extraordinary sense for opportunity. Meyer realized that trust not gold was the most valuable currency in the world. He began managing the wealth of local princes, advising them, lending to them, and ensuring their financial stability. In time, his name became synonymous with reliability and discretion. He passed these lessons to his 5 sons Amschel, Salomon, Nathan, Karl, and James, and gave them a mission to expand the family's reach across Europe. Each son was dispatched to a different financial capital: Frankfurt, Vienna, London, Naples, and Paris, forming what would become the world's first international banking network. This network was their true genius. The brothers could move money faster than any government, and their information network, relying on coded letters and trusted couriers, often outpaced royal intelligence. During the Napoleonic Wars, Nathan Rothschild, based in London, became a pivotal figure in European finance. He helped the British government fund its military campaigns against Napoleon, and when the Battle of Waterloo concluded in 1815, he famously received news of the outcome before anyone else in the city. Using that information, he made strategic moves in the bond market, securing profits that cemented the family's reputation and fortune. Over the following decades, the Rothschilds financed railways, mines, and major industrial projects that built the infrastructure of modern Europe. They lent money to kings, funded governments, and influenced policy in ways few families ever could. By the mid-19th century, the Rothschilds had become synonymous with immense wealth and subtle power. Their estates stretched across Europe from the vineyards of France to the banks of the Thames, and their connections reached into nearly every royal court. Yet, despite their influence, the family rarely sought the public eye. Their motto was simple: unity, secrecy, and control. They believed in preserving wealth within the family, marrying strategically to protect their fortune and ensure continuity. For decades, the Rothschilds were Europe's unofficial central bankers. They stabilized currencies, negotiated treaties, and played roles in shaping the financial systems that would later evolve into the global banking institutions we know today. Some historians even suggest that their methods inspired the formation of modern central banks. Others see their rise as the moment when finance began to quietly overshadow monarchy as the true seat of power. By the 20th century, the Rothschild family's direct control over national finances had begun to wane. Wars, political change, and new banking systems redistributed influence. But their legacy endured not as a fading memory, but as a foundation for modern capitalism. Today, the Rothschild name still carries immense prestige. The family's interests have diversified into investment management, energy, and the production of fine wines through their estates in France and beyond. To this day, their story remains wrapped in myth and mystery. Some see them as financial pioneers who professionalized banking and philanthropy. Others cast them as the hidden hands behind global power and exaggeration born from centuries of secrecy and influence. Whatever one believes, the truth is that the Rothschilds did more than build wealth. They built systems that outlasted empires and shaped the flow of money in a changing world. The Walton and Rothschild families stand as mirror images of two eras to definitions of empire. The Rothschilds shaped nations through finance. The Waltons shaped lives through consumption. One operated in the shadows of palaces and banks, the other under the bright lights of shopping aisles. Yet both share an uncheckable truth that power, when concentrated and disciplined, becomes self-sustaining. Both families transformed the idea of wealth from mere accumulation to institutional legacy. Meyer Amschel Rothschild taught his sons to preserve unity and control, while Sam Walton taught his employees to embrace humility and frugality. Each built a culture as much as an enterprise, a way of thinking that continues long after their passing. Their legacies stretch beyond money into politics, philanthropy, education, and the psychology of global markets. Today, when someone buys a product at a Walmart store or invests in a global fund influenced by systems the Rothschilds helped create, they are unknowingly participating in legacies centuries in the making. These dynasties remind us that history is not only written by kings or governments, it is also written by families. Families that build, consolidate, and pass on power through time. The Waltons represent the evolution of capitalism in its most visible form: open, accessible, consumer-driven. The Rothschilds represent its hidden roots: structured, strategic, and deeply intertwined with governance and finance. One democratized spending, the other centralized lending. Both, in their own ways, define the relationship between money and society. Their stories converge on a single point: the human desire to build something that outlives its creator. Sam Walton's stores continue to serve millions every day, long after his death. Meyer Amschel Rothschild's financial principles still influence banking centuries later. These are not just stories of business success. They are blueprints of legacy, proof that vision, discipline, and persistence can turn a single idea into an empire. From the Isles of Arkansas to the banking houses of Frankfurt, from the industrial age to the digital era, both families remind us that true power is not loud, it is patient, calculated, and generational. The Walton Empire moves billions of products. The Rothschild legacy moves billions in capital. Together, they form a silent dialogue between past and present, between the tangible and the invisible forces that shape our world. In the end, the Waltons and the Rothschilds reveal the same timeless lesson, that wealth, when guided by vision, becomes more than fortune. It becomes structure, it becomes system, it becomes history. And in that quiet truth lies the essence of power itself, the kind that does not need to be seen to be felt, and does not need to be spoken to be known. To families, to empires, one enduring truth: power, once earned, never truly disappears.